I mean, you hear horror stories. I call them horror stories of people coming out of retirement. That shouldn't be happening. They should be enjoying their life with their kids, grandkids.
We always make this caveat when we talk about AI. Well, it's not going to take our jobs, though. I'm going to just throw this out in the middle of the table. It's going to take our jobs. Why do we keep saying it's not?
Yeah.
Tyler,
yes.
How's your rib? How you feeling?
Eye is sore.
Why?
I have a pickleball injury.
It was a matter of time.
It was a matter of time.
Is it like legit pickleball, or is it one where you hold the racket and
you get hit by the ball?
Legit pickleball? What is this, Trevor? I've been playing like a maniac for the last year, man. It's legit pickleball. All right, but I was playing an 80-year-old lady, and
straight up.
You're telling me that you guys would not try hard. If you're playing an 80-year-old lady, you're like, no, there is no way I'm going to get whipped here.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I would try hard.
Play like crap, like crazy, man.
But there's a first step in this whole thing is, would I play an 80-year-old lady?
Or was she playing you?
No, it was Moneyball, all right?
She was playing him then. What was in the pot?
It was $15, all right? So,
big money.
I mean, it was big money. It was big
lifetime
money.
injury for $15.
I'll tell you what, it's worth it.
$1,500 doctor bill.
Staring at grandma across the other side of that net.
Jeez, dude. Now, she hit one wide, all right? So she hits one a little bit wide, and I chase after it, right? And then I hit the ball, and it comes back over the net, right? I got it back in play. I want credit for that. Okay. I got it back in play. I did my job.
Good effort.
Granted,
but then I realized, there's the fence. And I ran into the fence. And you know those tall fences, how they'll just like cup you, you just like sink into them, that sort of thing. So I sink into the fence and I keep going though, because like momentum. And it hit the post and just absolutely racked my rib is toasted. So anytime I sneeze, there's just a string of expletives that happens after because it hurts.
It's true.
Did you walk it off and pretend that nothing happened?
No,
or did everyone just kind of know?
No, I legit sat there for like 5 minutes and I was like debating. I was like, do I need to go home? Do I need to go home? And then I was like, Goonies never say die. So got back up and I won the freaking game by a point. And then I won every game after that.
An 80-year-old woman. That's the good ad there. Yes.
She had that mobilizer on sport mode.
She definitely.
You see what I did there?
Shut up. She definitely didn't have the suction cup on the end of her paddle so she could pick the ball up.
Right.
That was not the case at all. Anyway, so my injury's fine. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll be good. Moneyball's tomorrow night, so we'll see how I fare. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
You playing the 78-year-old tomorrow night? Or?
Yeah, now that you're undefeated.
I am undefeated. No.
Taking Social Security money?
This is my goal in life, yeah.
Put the HSA card up.
HSA card,
I might be able to top that one.
Okay, what you got?
So
this is an injury?
This is a current injury that is lingering.
Oh boy.
From last August. Mm-hmm. We had a director's team building event at a lake outside of Austin. Mm-hmm. One of the guys has a boat and brought that. And a few months before that, he had shown me a video of him and his son wake surfing.
Oh, yeah.
And I growing up in St. Louis, Lake of the Ozarks, I had no idea what wake surfing was. I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? Like, is there a rope? And he showed me. I was like, no. I was like, I've never seen that before. And so when we go on this retreat last August, he's like, I'm bringing my wake boat. And everybody wanted to try.
Yeah.
So all the guys had done it before. They were getting up. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I got to try this. I have to try this. I might never get another opportunity before my wife tells me to just stop doing those things. She probably should have said it before this. Getting out there and turn the board, trying to get up. First couple times falling down, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then the last time I go, I guess I created so much tension between the board and the boat that as I'm about to pull myself up, my shoulders feel like they're going to come out of their socket. And I'm like just about to let go and my hamstring just pops.
Oh.
And it's a grown man who, been working with these guys for about a year and a half.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, they're listening to a grown man scream, not drowning, holding onto a board, trying to crawl back into a boat.
That's humbling.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I'm imagining a gargling scream coming out of it.
Something like that.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's just not good. It's highly embarrassing. Like, and then just laying face down in the front of the boat while they continue to wake surf for the next 2 hours. That was the best part.
Shake it off.
Rub some dirt on it.
So while you were holding onto the boat, you kept your trunks on?
Oh, yeah. All that was good.
I mean, that's the last thing.
All that was
Hamstring
good.
pop, trunks.
I didn't insult the injury. I mean,
I don't know how the board didn't get away from me, but it was like arm under it and stuff. And so it was just bad. And then I come walking in the front door and my kids are running up saying, "Hey, Dad." And my wife's just looking at me like, "Why are you walking funny?" What'd you do? And so, not allowed to wake surf anymore.
That's,
Physical therapy, 6 months of that later, all that jazz.
Yeah, my wife is getting to that point.
The
where
rib
she's
could linger till Christmas.
I hope not, man. I really hope not. I was looking to play some tournaments and stuff, and you know, I was gonna play in the 80 and up league, and really, I might need to play in the 90 and up league now.
Has pickleball become a big thing around here?
Oh, dude, it's nuts around here. Yeah,
same here.
Yeah, but our courts are garbage too. Like they're terrible. They're cracks and all sorts of stuff. So they need to be redone. But in spite of all of that, like, we have probably 80 people that play pickleball week to week, like consistently on like Saturdays and stuff. It's great. So I don't know. It was easy to get the bug, and you know, I have to temper it though. I'm like, I want to go play pickleball, but I'm like, but I have kids and a wife.
What's the place by us? The
Chicken and pickle.
Chicken and pickle.
Pickle and chicken.
Chicken and pickle. We are familiar with chicken and pickle.
Man, it's like the top golf for pickleball, and you can't get a court.
Have we reached the point that we can out that we detailed a chicken and pickle?
There was nothing in that
contract
that I know of that prohibits us from saying, yes, we were the detailers on a couple of chicken and pickle facilities.
Nice.
You're welcome, world.
Did you have any like Easter eggs that you like left like your signature? Like
maybe.
Detail in
Other
there?
than the brace frame that was shaped in an E and a C, nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
You sure it's supposed to look like this?
in the bar area. Yeah. No, that's what they had on the structurals, I promise.
I thought these braces were supposed to be chevrons. What just happened here?
Nothing I can think of. You know, with structure though, that I told my son the other day, you walk around, if you're in building, like we were kind of bored waiting around on something. I said, man, you're never bored when there's like structure around and buildings around. Because I'm like, you know, looking up. It's funny though, when he talked to Nathan Patton, and Nathan's a surveyor, he said surveyors are always looking down.
Yeah.
Because they're always looking for benchmarks and different things. So different people are looking at different stuff.
I kind of started doing that a little bit more after working on a geospatial project. And like I started kind of seeing some of the different markers around. I'm like, oh, I never knew that's what that was. Had no idea.
You geek out like on vacation and you see like the pins in the ground. Or
I do, yeah.
You're like, kids, look.
Look at the thing. Look. And they're like, what? Why? I'm like, but that's it.
Or you find like the larger medallions in certain locations and stuff.
There's one up around the corner over there, actually.
Catholic Church.
Catholic Church, we see it every day. You can wave at it and stuff,
The black and white checkerboards like Walmart for like the cleaners, scanners.
Yeah. Jeez, dude. Yeah, you see those things everywhere now. All right. Well, let's get into business. So we're not going to just goof around this whole time, all right? We actually have serious things to talk about, all right?
Yeah. I mean, we could go on about pickleball.
We could go on about pickleball, but I don't think that's the reason people are tuning in to hear about my pickleball injury. Maybe they are. Thanks, Mom. Chris, let's start with you. Who are you? What do you do? Let's kind of set the stage here because we've already met you, but we'll get to you in a second.
So Chris Patton, I am the Director of Virtual Design and Construction at Rogers O'Brien Construction, based out of Dallas. And that's me. Been with Rogers O'Brien for about 2.5 years. Been in the BIM VDC world for about 14, 15 years.
Were you field first and then BIM VDC, or were you VDC the whole time?
Well, let's call it a hybrid. Never a full ops, never full. Like I started as a hybrid. So I actually started in architecture. out of school.
It's big of you to admit here.
That is big of you to admit.
But I got out of it pretty quick.
There you go.
So no, I worked for a pretty large architect in Dallas, and then had an opportunity. Someone gauged if I was interested in coming to work for a general contractor in Dallas, and mostly because it was kind of the beginning of the BIM world. So in architecture, I was at the company when they transitioned from CAD to Revit. And so I went through that and then general contractors started going like, how do we leverage this Revit thing for our benefit? And so, it was a different opportunity and a different idea of like what I could do with my skill set, and loved it ever since. And so my very first job was, I was a BIM coordinator / project engineer out at the DFW terminal improvement project.
Nice.
So when DFW renovated all 4 of their historical terminals, that was my first kind of real world application of BIM and construction. So, and then just kind of grew that passion from there.
Yeah, airports are wild too, man. Like every time I hear a story about an airport project, it can get a little bit crazy. We don't have to get into that. I know.
I'll just say hats off to all the guys that work on those, because it's a grind. You can go weeks and weeks and weeks, and you're like, what did we do? Because they're such long projects.
So. There's a lot of moving parts in them. All right, Trevor. Some things have changed since the last time you were here.
A little bit.
So
I grew a beard. I'm still working on it since.
How long has it?
About 35 years now.
35 years that you
threw away the Scooby-Doo razor. I figured it was time to
stop using the popsicle sticks.
Exactly.
That we used to practice with.
It was like, I've never really grown one out because I was like, it's always been like Joe Dirt style. I was like, I can never commit, and so. Back in November, my wife was like, I think you could do it for No Shave November just because you have a good excuse. I was like, she said, you could do it. I was like, you're right, I can.
Yeah.
End of November came, I was like, not much has changed. So I just committed and stuck with it. But is that the reason you're asking?
No. On the work front, man. Come on.
Okay, sorry.
Did you get taller?
Did you?
So apparently I love the color red. My origin story started at High Tech Electric in New Orleans, Great New Orleans area in Louisiana. Their logo is red. And went to Hilty, and their logo is red. And then recently, looking for, a new challenge in my career, and really drawn to RO, been familiar with the work that they're doing there. And Todd and I have been good friends for a long time.
Yeah.
When he first started, him and Joe Williams first started Project Atlas. And so we've just been connected for a long time. And again, looking for the next challenge in my career. And we had a nice conversation around what's the future of RO look like.
Yeah.
We did a lot of begging.
Yeah. But no, I mean, they've always, really piqued my interest.
Yeah, they did. They did.
A little.
It was an amazing offer.
Really challenging.
Good for you, man.
But no, it was along the lines of I've always been drawn to innovation.
Right.
I started as electrical contracting. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them, because I always point back to that.
Yeah.
The freedom they gave to allow me to try things that, hey, like, I think we're onto something here by using BIM on all projects. We started using Revit when Revit MEP first came out in 2011. And I was the first one in the office with 2 monitors and a solid state hard drive, and everyone, all the BIM guys got to have all the fancy equipment.
Yeah.
And I think that still happens today. But again, they were like, just do it, model it. And so there was projects where we were pulling in the mechanical contractor to come coordinate because we were leading coordination. And so really drawn to innovation, and same thing at Hilty. People know Hilty for innovation, and same thing RO. People know RO for innovation.
Yeah.
And I have something just inside of me drawn to the innovation side, but practical innovation, not just because technology is cool. I heard Big Crosby at Yates said one time at AGC that cool is not a business case.
Yeah.
And that is really rung true. Where it's like I'm still drawn to it because I like millennial side of me who grew up like with the internet as like dial up and always been drawn to tinkering and technology. Still like is at the core. Yeah. But applying that to real world construction and application and really kind of is where I'm putting it to good use at RO as well.
Yeah. Man, it's been a minute since we've talked to Crosby. We need to go reach out to him, see if he can come back, see what else is new too. But yeah, dude, I got the chance to meet Todd a couple weeks ago. Great dude, man.
It occurred to me one night, I was sitting on the couch, I was like, I don't know if they know each other. So I was texting you and him at the same time. I was like, y'all need to connect.
Dude, that was hysterical. Yeah. All right. And I can't wait for the day that we actually do a podcast. We're going to have to really like turn down our faders for the volume because it just gets really loud. Really, really loud. Like we got on a Zoom call. We're like, hey, what's up? How's it going? And like we were going nuts. I was like, what is happening? Oh, the energy. This is great. And it was awesome. So yeah, I could respect that. I love him to death. I've gotten to know him a little bit more recently and stuff. So yeah, good crew. But hey, let's get into kind of what you guys are up to. Like what's new? What you guys working on? I know we kind of hinted around to like reality capture and robotics and maybe something called the ROCC, if we can talk about it. I don't know. What's new? What's going on?
Oh, can we?
Well, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know about it. It's cool.
It's all related to, why Trevor's here today.
Yeah.
When I started a few years ago, one of our bets with Todd and I, was that, reality capture was going to become a major focus for construction. I think back then, even still today, for most part, a lot of people think of it in these kind of siloed applications, laser scanning, 360 drones, those kind of things, tower crane cameras, still cameras, things like that.
Yeah.
And we had a bet that at some point, those tools were going to merge. The highways were going to converge, the data was going to converge, and we were going to be leveraging the data that those applications are capturing on our job sites for much bigger things. And so, we had that idea, but we had to have the right people in place for it to support it first.
Yeah.
And so what we did was, a lot of those applications or a lot of those skill sets had traditionally been part of a traditional VDC coordinator's, toolkit, right? They kind of did it. And so we really kind of focused on building out a group solely focused around reality capture applications, processes, and workflows, and align that with our data strategy. And so the first step was finding the right person to lead that. We found some other parts to the equation, but then came across a unicorn that we convinced and was interested in.
Don't inflate his ego like that. Like,
it's okay. I've been called that before.
It was hard. It took a while, and and it was something he hadn't done in a while. But he had expertise in it. He had history in it. And he mentioned about the business side of what we do, and we'd seen what he'd done at Hilty with BIM services and grown that over the years, and we're like, he could do this.
Yeah,
he could do this. And so we kind of tapped him on the shoulder to see if he was interested. And he said he was looking for a new challenge, and stars aligned, and came over. And so that was step one, was getting the right team in place around reality capture. But like I said, we have this vision of the future, and one of those visions is the ROCC. And the ROCC stands for the RO Command Center. It's not a new term, and it's not something we made up. We stole it from...
No Sean Connery involved either.
Yeah, there hasn't been like 100 memes.
That's immediately what I thought of whenever I heard the name. I was like, so many memes.
It might be on a couple slides.
Yeah. It may be a tagline.
That's awesome.
But it actually comes from, the railroad industry.
Okay.
So you've seen some of those movies, images where they just have these command centers with hundreds of screens of data and information. And theirs is actually called the ROCC. It's called the Rail Operations Command Center. Is the nickname for theirs. And so we stole it from that and made it, the RO Command Center.
Yeah.
But it supports a bigger idea. It supports some of the challenges, or we hope solves some of the challenges that we're going to face in the near future. Labor shortage, really skilled labor shortage. Those senior builders in our companies being fewer and fewer every year that goes by. And we were trying to come up with a way to make sure that knowledge can touch more projects. There's only so many senior superintendents. There's only so many, whatever your next general superintendent level is. And today those guys, the only way they can stay involved in projects is in their car, in their trucks.
Yeah.
Job site to job site, trying to keep up with what's going on multiple projects and trying to train the next generation of superintendents. And we had to solutionize something that would be more efficient. We had to come up with a way for something that was more feasible, had a much higher impact than we're having today with the traditional method. And so we came up with the idea of the ROCC. Yeah. And the idea is that, in a nutshell, just think of a command center, whole bunch of different types of hopefully leading indicator data. Red blinky light, something's going wrong over here on this project or about to. Let me dive into that as a field director or senior superintendent and help them figure that out. Let me see some trends over here on this project and maybe we can solutionize. Or let's look at some historical data of some of these project types and solutionize around. So that's really the goal of the ROCC, is to enable our senior builders an easy, efficient way to stay engaged with projects, help projects, train the next generation, and help us just in general be better builders across all of our projects, not just the ones they're on.
Yeah.
So, that was a lot. That was a ton.
There's a lot of that I want to mine into.
There's a lot of layers
I'll let Eddie
there.
go first, though. I was out of courtesy.
I was just going to ask for like a specific example. Like, how would that play out specifically in a project, just in hypotheticals?
Yeah.
So and I didn't mention, when we think of the ROCC and the railroad analogy, we're thinking of like this large thing in the main office that is looking at all projects. We also have a vision of like the smaller version that's at the job site level. And so exposing data, both platform data and observational data combined to kind of expose those leading indicators of things that might be going good and things that might be going not so good. And so just think of like a general superintendent. You've got one that's got to cover all of Dallas, and he's sitting in this command center and he's seeing some data for a schedule that's going off. And so think of something today. You have a 360 platform, then somebody does a job walk, and it's also fed some schedule data, and it says, hey, there's supposed to be a wall up here based on your schedule, and I don't see a wall. What's going on? Blinky red light, like what's going on with the schedule over here? Is my manpower in the wrong location because I have locational data being fed to it that my manpower of my trade partners is in a wrong part of the building? Or why are they over here focused when they're supposed to be over here? And so, it's really meant to do that, is to expose data to our people, either at the job site level, or at the a central location to help them. Pick up the phone, be a virtual superintendent that can plug in and help a job site that might be focused somewhere else.
Virtual superintendent.
Right? Yeah, construction customer service.
That's kind of what I was thinking in a way. Like if you've got somebody who's got a ton of experience that is sitting there just watching some of the statistics, some of that data come through. If you've got that experience, you can do a lot more with that. But also from a training perspective, being able to push that back down to these junior supers, somebody who's not quite up to snuff yet can get some more training and development because they are getting that hands-on sort of interaction with a virtual superintendent, which is, that's a new term. That's not one I've heard before.
That's kind of like where the robotics comes into play. Is that autonomous reality capture. Today, the only way to do reality capture is through your fingers and hands and feet, walking around taking pictures. And when that person could be building, focusing on the build. And so that's the aspect of the robotics is let the robot go take pictures. And that data then is fed back to the command center. So they can pull up the most recent walk along with the most recent schedule and a live camera feed on a fixed camera.
Yeah.
And say, hey, if we don't make a couple of tweaks here on our 6-week look ahead, 4-week look ahead, we're gonna be off.
Yeah.
But doing it remotely and covering that also allows them to scale, allows them to have a better quality of life. They're not having to be on the top deck of a metal pan deck when it's 130 degrees in Texas in the summer. Now they're sitting down in an air-conditioned building, but still contributing to their expertise and their 30, 40 years of experience.
Yeah,
that's a great point. I mean, health and safety is another one as those senior builders, those seasoned veterans, get closer and closer to retirement. How can we extend that even by a few years? And a lot of times it's the physical aspect of what we do that, takes its toll. And how can we, still leverage their knowledge and keep them in industry just that much longer to, really leverage their experience. And, you mentioned the 110 degree pan deck, middle of Texas, middle of summer. Pretty challenging.
This is a little bit more of a long range sort of question, but you guys are considering AI, I assume, and implementing that into the ROCC.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
considering, yes.
Considering how it could be leveraged. I mean, if you're having all of these calls, like almost like superintendent hotline in a way, right? Like there's data that could be pulled in to feed some of these GPT models.
Yeah.
To provide even more resource and make everybody a little bit more in tune with better solutions on projects, right?
Yeah. I think the way in that scenario, the way we kind of see AI is plugging in, is accessing data faster, the right data faster.
Yes.
Not necessarily taking the place of a seasoned professional, but accessing data faster.
Right.
And whether that's data you've captured on the job site, whether that's historical data, whether that's lessons learned type data. But that's definitely how we.
But leveraging the AI to overlay, like you said, the reality capture to the schedule to the plan, and say, where are we at? Are we heads or tails? And leveraging AI to do that overlaying for us. So that way our field people, our superintendent, the ROCC, can take that data and make decisions with it.
This is fresh on my brain because Eddie and I have been talking a lot about standard operating procedures around here, right? And so we're trying to both build this stuff into, even Construction Brothers, right? And our processes here, and fresh on the brain because I use the simple tool Loom. Have you played with that yet?
Loom?
No. Yeah, so check it out. Really interesting. Not a partner of the show. This is just a direct call out. So I recorded a 13-minute video on how to do...
It's the one with the little, where it can do yourself in the corner. Yeah,
so you be at your laptop, hit record, right? Record everything, walk everybody through it, show it on your screen, do this. How often do we do that in the industry, right? Especially VDC guys.
You're always hitting control so people see your arrow.
Yeah. Follow me here. Let me show you this. Let me show you that. And so being intentional and just recording that process. So recorded out how we do certain tasks here at the podcast. And I ended it and I realized, holy cow, they injected AI into this. I was like, my end goal is to create a standard operating procedure, right? I hit the button and it says, create SOP. I'm like, wait, what? Click the button. Boom. And it formatted it in text, gave me a bulleted list of do this. And I was reading through it. I'm like, holy crap. Actually, no, it caught everything.
Yeah.
It did a good job. It even put some of the little caveats in there and some of the little disclaimers and stuff along the way. I'd be like, don't do this unless it picked that stuff up.
Yeah.
And so thinking through that, I'm like, wow, I could have handed that over to a writer. I could have handed that over to a virtual assistant. But at the same time, I'm like, that would have been a terrible use of their time.
Yeah.
Sitting there listening to me and typing it all out.
And then going back and forth.
Right. They can actually do better work because this stuff is speeding me up. And so thinking through the superintendent giving a ton of information to a younger soup and being able to pull that stuff back into an operational like procedure or like a manual on how we operate, like that is exciting stuff for me. And it's not because we're trying to replace them. It's because we're trying to make everybody a little bit better. And since we have that labor shortage, we have to get a little bit better and a little more efficient.
And that's something that really drew me to RO when they called me is because being at Hilty for 6 years, I could really kind of peek behind the curtain of a lot of different organizations and the industry as a whole, for that matter. And so I could see like where problems were that were really reoccurring problems, no matter where you were regionally or what you were doing in the industry. Everyone was dealing with the same problems, just maybe in a little bit different ways. And I saw certain people were tackling it by equipping the worker or with a certain safety aspect or tweaking the way the worker did that task. So it was kind of like tweaks to certain things that they're trying to get done, but it was like, no, we need like something drastic has to change for us to really take a good tackle, or at least I want to say adapt to this labor shortage, because I don't know if you're going to combat it. Maybe adapt to it by leveraging technology and a different way of thinking. And so that's really when Todd and Chris said we have this idea to do this, I'm like, yes, that's the kind of change and kind of crazy I'm thinking of that would really needs to take this thing on called labor shortage, especially with housing crisis, tons of waste in construction. So how do we centralize the construction mindset in a location, but also extensions of that at the job site, and people can tap into it versus, oh, it's on you, Johnny, who's been in construction for 60 years, or you're 60 years old, you've been in construction for 40 years. It's on you. You are our go-to person for this aspect of construction. Well, Johnny, you hear horror stories. I call them horror stories of people coming out of retirement. That shouldn't be happening. They should be enjoying their life with their kids, grandkids, fishing, riding their motorcycle. But now we're hear people calling them, hey, we really, 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 really need you. And so in this aspect now, it's equipping people to, like, when you go to retire, it's like, no, go.
We heard that yesterday.
Well, and if Johnny's a superintendent and he's 60 years old, he's got 58 years of experience because they all started when they were like 2.
Right. Yeah.
That's how that works.
Drinking Monsters.
Yes. Machine was up. Yeah. I mean, it's like just to the man. I got to pick. We always make this caveat when we talk about AI. Well, it's not going to take our jobs, though. I'm going to just throw this out in the middle of the table. It's going to take our jobs.
Yes.
Why do we keep saying it's not?
Yeah. Okay, but okay. I feel like
it's for the dull, the dirty, the mundane. Okay. It's like we've got these little talking points that we do.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, like, you've got a labor shortage that's feeling it. You know that part in Lego Movie where good cop and bad cop, like they're trying to keep him where he's at, and he's like, no, I'm telling him he's fine, but that's just so he'll sit still.
So we're gonna kill him.
Yeah, but we are actually gonna kill him. Like, that's what I feel like AI is, just like, sit where you're at and relax. We got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And
I know you do. You're not the doomsday guy.
No,
that's
it's not the machines are coming for us thing. No. I think that hey, Pony Express isn't around anymore either. Like, jobs change as we move from generation to generation.
Yeah.
If you are sticking your head in the sand right now and saying, but it's not going to take my job because it'll never be creative, like, AI can't be creative. That's what it does. It creates. And it can do so based on the likes and dislikes of humans because it learns behavior, which is many times what we do when we learn and express. So I just think that we need to be honest about the fact this is going to change how we work. It is going to change how we work.
I'm an advocate for it. It's going to enhance it. Like, we're still trying to figure out how it fits in. Right. I think it's going to enhance it for a while. And I think it will replace jobs. But I mean, are there jobs out there are they jobs that are actually that fulfilling? Right. Like, okay, I tell you, hey man, I need you to go listen to this 13-minute video and I need you to type out all the details. Most people, not all, I'm not going to say all, but most people will be like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is a horrible thing.
Well, I mean, years ago, it'd be like, this is your job. Like, this is what I pay you to do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where you took pride in, like, I have a job. I'm going to, work my butt off and deliver no matter what it is. If it's flipping burgers or listen to some guy blabber on about SOPs.
or putting together a door frame and hardware schedule.
But I think you're totally right. And I hear the same thing about robotics as well, task performing robotics. And but I think you're also right in a sense that, like, you're going to be foolish if you don't leverage it somehow either. That because of the same breath, that person probably just said that was complaining that, oh, man, I can't find enough people. We have backlog for 2 years, but I can't find enough people. But AI is going to take my job. Wait, you just said you can't find enough people, but AI is going to, like, what jobs is it going to take if you can't fill them?
Yeah, I agree and I disagree. Ooh. Okay, I just maybe a different angle to it.
I love it.
The world's population is not going down.
Mm-hmm.
Mortality rate's 100%.
It will never go down. And so I look at it in this way. One, we have a challenge of people being interested in the construction industry, and we're trying to correct that in many different ways. But with the growth of population, I look at, just as an example, the 2 buildings across the street. Mm-hmm. Today, you need 4 people in your company to run the construction of that project. Well, in 5 years, because of the population growth, you're going to have to build 2 buildings with the same number of people. And so now it's it's a combination of population growth, retooling, like you said, what was the term you used? The fulfillment, so you might have less of a need of certain roles, but you're going to have more of a need of other roles to keep up with the building growth. Mm-hmm. And so robots, AI, I think is augmenting us towards that.
Yeah.
It is helping, it is enabling us, it is optimizing us to do more with less. And so I think those 2 things will help balance it out. Will it take certain jobs? Absolutely. But I think the hope is that those roles are the ones that it doesn't, we need more of. Mm-hmm. And it's helping augment that and optimize towards that scenario.
Or spin up new roles that never existed before.
That too. Right. Yeah, we didn't even mention that.
That's one we come back to all the time is robot operator. Like, that's going to be a career. Yes. It is already one now. Yep. Right? Like, it's spitting out new careers. I mean, same as like your Pony Express analogy.
I've got one.
New jobs have happened as a result of the Pony Express going away. Like, it's just life. That's the way it works.
I was at Six Flags with the family the other day.
You want to talk about where you couldn't handle the...
I handled Goliath, man. I went on him. Now I messed with my equilibrium the rest of the day, but I got Goliath
and done. The next day.
And the next day. And then by the third day, I was kind of okay again, but I'm pretty sure it gave me vertigo. Anyway. No, but they were ride upon ride. They were down.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't get on the ride. I was just sitting there thinking, man, if you're a mechanic that can work on a roller coaster about now, you can make bank. Because, you're sitting there going, well, if I'm the one that can re-enable this, that'd be great. Now, robotics and construction, talking to fabricators now, like, fabricators are becoming more and more automated. As they become more automated, well, somebody's got to be able to fix that automated piece of equipment.
Yeah.
So now there's an opening. There's a new school coming in South Georgia to train mechanics for EVs because EVs are new. And now we need EV mechanics because we're going to have them out there and we don't want graveyards full of EVs like you may have seen on social media. It's like, yes, it creates new jobs. There's absolutely no doubt that it will move. We need to do our best to, as you have done, think out front. Like you said, back when we had a vision for what may happen someday. And I think, Back to the Future reference, it's interesting how when you look at Back to the Future 2 and they project what it was going to be like, some things you go, oh, we do video conferencing. Mm-hmm. But your fire doesn't spit out on paper anymore because fax machines kind of went away.
Yeah.
So usually when you do that, you have some things in view and you're like, oh man, I can see this coming. And then other things, they're a little different when we get there.
Yeah.
You know, what's a phone look like and that sort of thing.
Minority Report and some of the things in there. It's like,
Yeah, we have that happening all over the place now. That's creepy as junk.
Well, it's not. I think it's not just one thing to maintain the jobs or lack thereof or enhance the jobs we have. I think it's also a scale too, as a society, or tap into that backlog that you do have to help you scale sustainably, accurately, quality, using AI as a tool to help you do that.
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of go back to this thought of robotics and kind of enhancing people. I went to Walmart the other day. Have you seen the new renovation over here?
Yes.
You know where I'm going with this then. So they took out all but I'll say 4 of the people operated checkout lines. They are all self-checkouts now.
Yep.
And you have one person with a tablet walking around operating I'll call it 30 different cash registers. And I'm like, holy cow, that is really cool to see. That's a vision of what it could be, right? That's that robot operator of, okay, we're going to have somebody operating something. I don't know if it's going to be JBot. I don't know what it's going to be, but I tend to think we're not quite there yet. We're going to have people operating 5, 6, 10 of these different robots out on site. Doing all sorts of different things and maintaining them, and that's gonna be their job. I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. That's so cool.
That's one of the things that we're looking at for the ROCC.
Yeah,
it's sending drones. Can one person hit a button and fly 15, 20 drones on their pre-planned path for that week?
Yeah,
sitting at the ROCC. Or tapping in, remoting into a fleet of robots doing different tasks for the day, or remoting in and maintaining them. Tapping into the cameras, so talking to someone on site, but you're tapping to the camera, having a conversation around what's going on with the robot.
Yeah.
We have a lot of wasted time in construction. The larger the project, the more time it's probably inefficient use of time. I'll put it. And like Trevor mentioned, drones. So one of those that leads to the ROCC. We have kind of this mid milestone that is, how do we capture that data, that observational data, drones, cameras, all of that. And we're looking at what we're calling Field Engineering 2025. And that is that exact idea that he mentioned, which is a field engineering crew that used to be 3 people. Their tools are getting more sophisticated, where they may only need 2. But can those guys and girls do more? So pull up to a job site and they've got this beefed, souped up truck with all these compartments, and they release the robots, right? The drone flies off, the RC car with a 360 camera goes and takes data on the ground. A layout robot goes and does layout, and they're doing all of this with 1 or 2 people now. And so that, it's enhancing kind of the things we do today. I think you said the mundane, the dirty
dull,
the dirty.
Mundane.
Yeah, I've heard that term before. Yeah. The dull, dangerous.
Dull, the dangerous. It's I guess mundane. And
dirty, dull, and dangerous.
Same, right? Yeah, dirty, dull, and dangerous.
I think we're trying to optimize the people and the time that we have on site, and that's kind of one of the goals too.
Yeah,
to support the ROCC.
Yeah. I'm excited to see this. So when is it going to be done? What are you guys, because I know this is still a work in progress. You have the vision for it.
Well, it's good to have that North Star, in 26. Yeah. But like you said, now we're doing things now to help us get there in step changes, incremental changes, whether it's process or, we have a idea that we're testing right now for the past few months around the field engineer doing. Can someone show up to the job site on a regular basis and take 4 progress photos of a job site every week and go to the next one? Just starting in the basics. Okay, could they do 1 project? How many could they do? 3 projects in a week of 4 corners of the building and 1 overview of the building of the site. And we're calling it the what do we call it? The drone pilot, piloting the drone pilot FE project. And then now we're like, okay, we have a few months of data that if they can do that, now can we tap into it, maybe talk about maybe 360 camera walks. So now it's like kind of proving the concept to ourselves a little bit. So to get there, it's process change a little bit. Can we even do these certain things that we're dreaming of? Yeah, okay, we can do it.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things we're doing now, and also looking at parallel work streams of what would be the platform for, or one or two platforms that we're looking at for ingesting all that data, because some things we want to get away from is having silos of, oh, that's a drone, this goes in the drone software, 360 cameras go in the 360 camera software, where all that data is, is not interoperable, doesn't really talk to each other. So, with the ROCC in mind, how does someone interpret that data when it's all siloed? So that's where we're also looking at some software platforms to help interpret the data, overlay the schedule and BIM models on top of that data to help people make better decisions.
The pilot program is the start of it. It's not so much about taking pictures. It's about capturing data, quality, consistent data, because that's what it's going to take to feed a ROCC that is valuable, right? That is the consistency in the data that we feed the machine is what's important.
Right.
There's a whole nother side of this, which is run by our amazing director of IT, Terry Mullis, and that is the actual data side of it. Connecting different platforms, connecting all of this together to create the ROCC. We're kind of spearheading that observational project data capture at the job site level. He's running point on more of what happens on the back end. How do we connect these different things and make them talk to each other to expose these insights? So there's a lot of layers to it. To answer your question, I think we've always kind of had a, North Star of like the end of 26 to have this up and running. So that's our goal today. Nothing saying we can't do it, but there's a lot of work towards it.
I swear, if I show up there 2 monitors, I'm going to be mad. All right?
This is
the ROCC. It's just a ROCC. All right? It's literally a pebble.
This is like someone's nameplate.
Just because you brought a 32-inch screen doesn't mean you can call it something special.
Exactly.
Dwayne Johnson sitting there.
How much are you spending on this thing? It's cool, but
he charges about $3,000 a minute.
Right. $30 million a year. Oh my God. No, not at all. Oh gosh, I love it. All right, so I know we kind of have run the gamut of conversation here today. I want to hit you guys with our megaphone question, though, if that's cool. Okay, so I've already asked this question of you. All right, so I don't. Yeah. I'm debating on whether or not I need to throw this at you. All right, but our megaphone question. So, Chris,
okay,
if we gave you a megaphone and around 60 seconds to say something to the construction industry, what would you want to say?
I would say, don't be scared of it. Don't be intimidated by it. Don't be internally, like people in the construction industry, I say, don't be scared of these changes. Embrace them. They're only going to make us better. They're going to be critical to long-term success of what we're trying to accomplish as a company and as an industry. For people coming out of school, I would kind of hit on, hey, you don't have to have a construction management degree to get into construction. You don't have to go into the apprentice program through the trade route. There are many different routes to support the construction industry. There's architecture. We have people with gaming backgrounds that are enabling some of these visualization things to occur, of exposing data and telling a story in a visual way. So there's a lot of different routes to get towards the construction industry, and it's a very dynamic industry. There's lots of different things you can do within it. There's lots of opportunity in it. And it's just to me, it's a very fulfilling career. I think at the root of it, it's not about building buildings, it's about solving challenges. And if that's something you like, if you like dynamic, collaborative, problem-solving environments, that's what construction is. You take pride in the results of what come out of that, right? The deliverables of those projects. But the process of going through it is what it's all about. And that's what's exciting. And I think some of the things we're doing, one of our mantras is every year figuring out how to get people home 15 minutes earlier. I think some of those changes, some of the things people may fear about the construction industry, the long hours, the backbreaking work. I think we're trying to improve those and get away from, not necessarily get away, but optimize those so that people aren't working all day and night to get a project finished, so that we're, making less mistakes. Projects are staying on schedule. The types of work you do and how those get accomplished are I guess, more innovative, less backbreaking type of challenges, and that's kind of our goal. So be open to it. Think about it in that way. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
In a nutshell, be curious, be gritty, but complemented with being patient.
Gritty as in like GRIDDY, gritty? Like doing the grit. Okay, not that. Okay, all right. Sorry.
No. Being, get ready to get your boots dirty.
Gritty.
Yeah, get in there, but being curious, asking why.
Yeah.
And then be patient, because construction industry is fraught with, rooms for improvement, but not so quick to change. So even though you see the change, they'll be frustrated with the industry for not changing instantly. But I think that's key is being gritty, asking why, but being patient as well with the industry.
It's good stuff, guys.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of sometimes an overused term. It's an old term, but I think the construction industry and the AEC industry as a whole is really, really trying to focus on working smarter, not harder. And I think that's a big focus for a lot of people, because I think they see it as a need for long-term success and viability. We can't just keep doing things the way we've always done them.
We don't have the luxury of throwing bodies at problems.
Correct. There is a ton of historical knowledge, traditional methods of building that we need to learn from to make those things happen. But I think companies are being very intentional about moving towards a smarter, not harder method.
Yeah.
And hopefully we just play a small part in figuring that out.
Well, this is good stuff, guys. Like, thanks for sharing everything that you guys are working on. Like, I'm excited to see the ROCC, and I will be mad if it's 2 monitors, but I will want to come see it. So you guys keep us posted.
Yeah, we'll do.
Can we throw a question at you guys?
Oh gosh.
Favorite candy?
Favorite candy? Favorite candy. Reese's.
Pieces or cups?
Cups.
Pieces?
Oh yeah, definitely pieces.
Eddie,
I don't know different genres, like, because you're going sour candies or chocolate peanut butter. You go Reese's cups or.
I don't know why, but for some reason, Eddie, circus peanuts just popped in my head for you.
Man, I don't know what to do with that at all.